Hope everyone is having had a happy Thanksgiving with friends and with family. Now we'll finish off with a little bit of Torah learning, and what can be better than that? We're up to the second parak in Pirkei Avot, the 9th Mishnah, and it goes as follows. It's a little bit different than some of the Mishnah we've seen before, and you'll see in a second. It says, Chamisha Talmidim hayu lo leRabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai ve'eluhin. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was one of the great rabbinic leaders of the Mishnaic time period, he had 5 students. Not necessarily only 5, but he had 5 of note in this Mishnah at least. And their names were Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenes, Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, Rabbi Yossi HaKohen, Rabbi Shimon ben Nesanel, and Rabbi Lazar ben Arach. 5 students: Eliezer, Yehoshua, Yossi, Shimon, and Elazar. And each one of them was special and had a unique characteristic that they showed. That they showed to the world, some remarkable characteristics and quality traits. And so Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai enumerated them. So a side point before we enumerate and say what they are, some are going to be academic and some are going to be more spiritual, so to speak. But I noticed, I saw that someone comments that you see Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, the teacher, his greatness in that he saw the unique character traits of each of his students. He took time to notice, and he actually listed them for us. And so that teaches you the power of a teacher when he's really locked in and knows and can evaluate the strengths of his students. Rabbi Elazar ben Horkenes bor sod she'eno ma'abed tipa. So Rabbi Elazar ben Horkenes is like a cistern that does not lose a drop, meaning his Torah learning, his knowledge, he has it all. Whatever he learns, he retains, and he doesn't let anything go. Obviously, it means he reviews his studies, but that's an amazing. So it's not just that he has a phenomenal memory, which he probably did, but also the fact that he strived to review his studies was also very admirable. Yeshua ben Chananya Asher Yoladato. Yeshua ben Chananya, praiseworthy is his mother, the one that gave birth to him. She should have Yiddish Nachas from her son Yehoshua. And I saw that someone, that I think the Gemara, the Talmud, discusses his mother and how his mother actually was very involved before his birth in praying that he be a successful Torah scholar. So that's why it says here, Asher Yoladato, because her prayers were answered. Rabbi Yossi HaKohen Chassid. Rabbi Yossi HaKohen was a Chassid, not Chassidim in the sense that we know today, but a Chassid, a pious one, someone that really can know and tap into what God expects of him and to go above and beyond. But again, not someone that flaunts what they do. Humble, humility, and pious, just going the extra mile, but being very very private about it, not letting it get to his head. But that he had that special trait. Rabbi Shimon ben Nesanel Yirei. Rabbi Shimon ben Nesanel feared sin and all that came with it, and he was a very careful and meticulous in his observance. And Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, Mayan HaMiskaber. Rabbi Elazar ben Arach was like a overflowing spring, in that everything that he studied, he was able to apply and compare and contrast to something else that he learned, and he was always coming up with novelties in the text, and so he's like a spring that just keeps flowing. So now we're going to makes some interesting observations. Hu hayomer. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai also said, Im yihu kol chachmei Yisrael b'kaf maznayim. If you have a scale, and you have on one side of the scale all the elders, all the scholars of Israel, on one side, and Eliezer ben Horkenes b'kaf shniya, and Eliezer ben Horkenes on the other side, machrias kulam. He would outweigh them all. Eliezer ben Horkenes, who we said in the beginning, was someone that never forgot any of his studies, and so was a very big Torah scholar. You know, he was bigger than anyone else. Abba Shaul Omer Mishmo, and the last thing is that Abba Shaul actually says something related but different. He says, Im hayu kol chachmei Yisrael b'kaf mazayim. He says that if you have all the scholars of Israel on one side, Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenes afi mahem, even with Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenes, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach b'kaf shniya machrias kulam, but Elazar ben Arach on the other side, he outweighs them all, because he's also great. So the commentators say it's not really competition here. What's going on? It's extolling the virtues that each one of these scholars had in terms of their academic pursuits and their approach and their way of Torah study. One of them, and one approach to Torah study is to study a little bit, a limited amount at a time, but to go in depth, right? You study the Torah Psukim, and then the Mishnayos, and the Gemara, and the Talmud, and then the commentaries, and you pick one topic or one page, and you go very in depth, trying to reach the truth of what's going on. The other approach is to study a little bit more on the surface and cover as much ground as you can, because you could spend your whole life studying the Torah and not even finish 10% of it. It's so large and vast. And so that approach is not to learn things as much in depth, but rather to try to learn, cover more material. And so each one of these had that to the extreme, to the hilt. That one was more of an analytical, genius, brilliant thinker and analyzer, and the other one was a prolific studier of the text, and knew so much.